Hey guys, welcome to another live episode. Every night on this YouTube channel, I go live and I pick a topic, something that I've been through in life, something that I think about, something I want to talk about. So tonight, it's centered around what if the world did not have money? Let's imagine the world without money. Money is such a big part of life that I think it's important to take some time to examine what it is, what priority it has in your life, what value it has in your life, what value it has in society, and reflect on how you look at it, how does society look at it. So what is money? Money is basically a reward system. Money rewards people for things. It rewards you for doing a service. It rewards you for creating something and offering it to society. Without money, people would not do anything. If there was no money reward, would you go to work? Most people wouldn't go to work. So if no one went to work, would there be nurses? Would there be doctors? Would there be construction workers? Would there be Starbucks people? Would there be house builders? Whatever. There would be no function. People would basically, if you don't reward someone, people would not want to do anything. Because I've often thought about that, how can, you make the world a better place? And you think about eliminating money or a different way to look at money. And certainly there could be conversation around equalizing certain things, making society more balanced. I think those are good conversations. But I think first you have to kind of get past imaginary land and say, would the world function without money? I don't think it would. I think because you need some type of reward to get out of bed. And if you work harder, you get more of a reward. If you do more things, you get more of a reward. That's what pushes people to innovate, to create, to build, to develop lands, to do different things. Without that, again, if you got sick and you needed help in a hospital, would anyone be there working? No. If you weren't going to get rewarded to work in a hospital, you weren't going to get money, what would you do? You wouldn't want to work there. Why would you want to put up with all that aggravation? So from a fair mind, we can say that money is understandable, whether it's a paper dollar or gold coin, Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. Some type of reward is for a person who works, contributes to society, and does something. Now, like anything, do you have people that scam to get money? Of course. But it's a reward system, and so that's what it is. And that's why it's needed, because it motivates people to do things with their life. If there was no money in YouTube, would people make videos? Not as many. Anywhere from corporations to regular people. If there was no money in Uber, would anyone Uber? No. Now you can make the debate that, you may want some regulation where everyone should get a certain amount. That's always debatable, and I understand that. But things that you do in life and that you have done, and I reflect on my life, I've worked jobs that I didn't like at times, and I did it for money, period. Why, and sometimes I've gotten bitter when I've been down and out financially. I say, the system's screwed up. Some of it was my own fault. Some of it I can understand. There are some inequities in the system. I can understand both points. But I can definitely understand that in one shape, form, you need a level of a reward. You give your dog a treat, a reward. You give your child a present as a reward. We all are undeserving. We kind of talked about that last night. None of us can say we deserve anything 100%. I don't think you can. But I certainly think that you can be rewarded for the harder you work. I definitely think you need a level of luck, a level of opportunity. But I definitely seen it in my own life, in my different aspects of life. I definitely had to get a better understanding of money, a better budget, and I still failed. But, understanding to live below my means, understanding that, look, you have to be aggressive to go get money. They're not just going to hand it out. And when they do hand it out, there's always strings attached, whether it's a family member, a government, whoever. There's always strings attached to money. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. So what priority does it take in your life? I think that's different for everyone, right? I think I've Some people want just enough money to meet their basic needs, and that's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Good to see everyone on the live chat. Backwoods always first. I love to drive. Woohoo. And D from New Hampshire. I haven't seen Waukeelan. I'm sorry I missed you, brother. Good to see you. Thank you guys for leaving a comment. I really appreciate that. What priority does money have in your life? For everyone, that's different. Some people want just enough to get by. Either they don't like working, or they don't want a lot of things. They just want to pay their bills. They want a little bit in savings, and that's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Individual choices in life. Some people can never get enough. Some people want to start businesses. They want to be billionaires. They want to build skyscrapers. And if they don't manipulate people to do it, there's nothing wrong with that, because that's what builds stuff. That's, if no one wanted to be, like very successful on the internet, right? You wouldn't have Google. All of us enjoy Google. Google owns YouTube. We all like watching it. We all like it's free, right, to the masses. They sell ads on it. But people who push to try to earn more, to create, to innovate, they do offer goods to society. And Google has become a big corporation. It was started by immigrants. And you'll see that many immigrants in America have started great companies because there's a hunger, there's a drive to innovate. And so, it's going to vary, on your personality. We talked about that last night. I think personality drives a big part of your life. Some people have the personality of, I just want enough to get by. Some people have the personality, I want to conquer, I want to build great things, I want to make a lot of money. And there's always a percentage of people that want to scam, manipulate, because that they see that as the quickest way from point A to point B. There's a variety of mindsets on how people look at money once they prioritize it in their life. And priorities, priorities is a big thing. Priorities was a big point in the scriptures, to have your priorities right. And how people look at priorities is, again, it's different for everyone else. I remember that at Whitney Houston's funeral. That was like the main theme. And she struggled with drugs, like I know many people struggle with drugs in my family. I think that's a mental issue. I think a big part of life as I get older, I think there's just certain ways certain people process information in their mind. Maybe it's their fault, maybe it's not, I don't know. But I think a big part of life is mental. I really do. As I get older, it's amazing how much is in the mind. You got to have a certain level of physical ability, but a big part of life is really mental. I always say, I look at my mom, she knows she shouldn't eat bad food, but she can't help herself mentally. And I thank God that I saw that, because I think I would be more judgmental if I didn't see that. Because I know my mom is not a lazy person. She worked her whole life, raised 3 kids, single mother, worked minimum wage jobs, worked till she was 70, worked in a supermarket till her knee gave out. So she's not lazy, but she can't help herself with food. She just can't. So you say to yourself, sometimes you think, well, laziness is the answer on why people don't want to get money. And sometimes that's true. I think laziness is a big problem. But there's also something to be said that there's a certain way people are hardwired that they can't help themselves. Is money everything? No, I don't think it is. Obviously time is everything. Money is a resource to help you enjoy your time in this earth. We're all travelers. Someone asked me last night on the replay, do I believe in heaven or hell? Wu-Tang Clan had a song about that, heaven or hell. Someone asked me, do I believe in heaven or hell? I said, well, I hope for heaven. No one truly knows. I'm not going to sit here and give you a big big religious saying. No one knows. It's by faith. So I hope for heaven. But no one knows. But I say all that to say we're all going to find out eventually. We're all terminally ill. And it's the enjoyment of your life and trying to get the most out of your life. That's, all you can really say that for certain that life is about. You want to try to get the most out of your life. You want to try to enjoy it the best you can. You want to try to leave a positive impact. At least that's me. I've certainly met people that don't care about anything or anyone. Some of it, again, I think is really mental. I think there's just something the way their mind processes information. Some people are just nasty. I can't figure it out. I don't know. But I want to go back to the point. Never try to figure someone else out. Try to figure yourself out. And try to figure out, how you look at money. How much do you want? How much are you willing to try to get? How do you use it as a resource? I definitely say the lowest times in my life, in some aspects. I mean, we all know health is number one, and I've been in a hospital, and it's horrible when you have health problems. Horrible. But some of the lowest times in my life is when, like, I've been in debt, been struggling financially, and just feel like everyone screws you, uh, and it's a very bad feeling. And I guess that's why, in one sense, that's why I kind of never want to go back to having a lot of long-term commitments, because I want to be able to wiggle out of a situation and never be on the hook to someone. Because when you're on the hook to people, it's hard to cut them out of your life because you need them. And that's what money does. A lot of times money keeps people that shouldn't be in your life because you need them for something. It's true. Vicky, hey Vicky, thank you so much for the love. She goes, thanks for being so inspired. Vicky, thank you for hanging in there with me. I appreciate that. Love to you. Love to Minnesota. What's the countdown? Love to your countdown to coming to Florida. And I appreciate your kindness. Florida's magical. I'm outside right now. It was really hot yesterday. It's cooled down today. There were some rainstorms. But I'm looking right now. I mean, I'm looking at beautiful palm trees by the ocean, so I feel the ocean breeze. And in the height of the summer, it gets very hot. But it cools down about 6 p.m. You start to feel, and it's very enjoyable at night. Very enjoyable. I'm sitting out here tonight, just enjoying the outside. And this is what you'll see that's different in Florida versus New Jersey, right? There's a lot of and I'm sure versus Minnesota as well. There's a lot of like outdoor eateries or even Starbucks. Like they have a lot of tables and a lot of setups outside of the restaurant to enjoy the outdoors. And that's why I came to Florida. I stayed in New Jersey 2 years because I wanted to try to maintain working with the same company I was with, because I did notice that in Florida there's on average lower pay scale. Okay, we're talking about money now too, and that's what does keep a lot of people from moving to Florida, is that the reward, the money is not the same as in other states. But at the same time, some of the cost of living is cheaper. There's no state income tax. And there's certainly metropolitan areas where there's a lot of opportunity. But there's also, again, the thing that you always, in the equation of life, money is a big part of it. That's why I speak of it. And we just kind of like talked about how you can't have a world without money, because then no one would do anything. Who would be a nurse? Who would be a doctor? Who would be a police officer? Who would be a construction worker? The world wouldn't function. Everyone would just sit around, look at each other. So inside the mind, inside the human psyche is we need to be rewarded for doing something. And a lot of times people, because there's a lower pay scale in Florida, keeps them from wanting to live in Florida. And so what I always tell people is, that's understandable because money is a big part of life, but what I really admired about you, Vicky, was you did the calculation. You did it responsibly, basically planned out a 2-year plan. And that's what I think it takes, 2 years to downsize. 2 years to downsize and relocate. You did a 2-year plan to come to Florida. You're going to take a little bit less financially, but you're going to gain quality of life. And I think that's wisdom. I think that everyone should make their own decisions, because I don't want to tell people, I try not to ever tell people how to spend their money. I had to kind of mature in that area. I said, Sam, look, everyone spends their money different. Like I remember there was one guy, he used to like always argue his wife would buy stuff. And he was like, I never buy clothes, Sam. Look, I wear the same thing like every day. I said, yeah, but you buy tools. So he would buy tools. His wife would buy stuff from Target. But they were both buying stuff. It was just different stuff. So everyone spends their money different. Some people spend on furniture. Some people spend it on business ventures. Don't count other people's money. Don't count other people's money. And at a certain point, in your comfortable level, don't let money stop you from living. But I certainly want to say that, yeah, you do need a level of money. There's no doubt about it. But I remember when I came to Florida, I said, man, because you have to play out worst case scenarios. So if I come to Florida and I lose my job, I researched the market. I know that there's a lower pay scale in Florida. So I said, would I go back up north to New Jersey or to New York to work? Look, if I was totally destitute and I had no other way to make money, look, you have to survive. Okay. I got, I mean, I have to feed myself. No one feeds me but me. I don't have, anyone out here. I'm by myself. And I kind of wanted to simplify my life because I didn't want my father or other people in my life dictating me about money. I often shared that I walked away from my father, and I probably walked away from $200,000-$300,000 inheritance. But it was at a certain point where I said, look, I'm not scared to work, and I don't want negativity in my life. You have to put up with some stuff for money. I often say I've seen a lot of good people quit their job, not because they weren't capable, because they just couldn't deal with people. But I always caution people when, it's better to deal with a coworker than a family member or a friend that you have to borrow money from. Because a coworker, you're not attached. A family member or friend, they're there forever, and it's tough to get away from them. I think there's a scripture that says it's better to borrow money from a stranger than a brother. I think there's a scripture that says that. But thank you again, Vicky. That's all I can say. Thank you for the tip, and thank you for hanging in there with me. Sometimes I say, man, I hope some people are hanging in there with me. Sometimes when you do YouTube, you form relationships, but just like real life, you lose relationships. And you don't know who's still watching. You don't know who still cares, who hates you. And that's why it does play with your mental health. And that's why I often share, which I can speak from experience now, over 2 years having a YouTube channel. I love it. But I also, at times, can hate it. Because it plays with your mental health. All the conversations replay in your mind. You think, did I hurt this person? Did they hurt me? And, so you think about that. Good to see you, Roz. Good to see you, No Frill Joe. And that's why relationships are important, because you play out the conversations in your mind. A big part of life is mental. As I get older, man, I'm really experienced. And that's why I like less stuff. Because the less stuff I have to think about, the better my mental health is. That's why I'm scared to commit to a piece of land or to a HOA. Eventually, I'm going to have to bite the bullet. I think about that sometimes. But I also think about, man, it's like, I like non-obligation. I just do. But thank you guys, Tom. Tom, good to see you, brother. You should have your own podcast. Well, this is pretty much it, or TV show. Thank you for the compliment. Would you do that if you had the chance? Stay positive. Thank you, brother, for the positive comment. Yeah, well, this is it. I think this is the best way to do it. Like I said, when I had a nonprofit organization in New Jersey, I had a radio show. Well, it was like an outreach to help people and help the homeless, gave a couple mattresses away and stuff. It was very small. But I kind of got disillusioned with that too. I was like, I don't really know if it makes a dent. Because I kind of realized that, you could help people somewhat, but at the end of the day, really, people have to be kind of either able to get their own money, or there has to be some type of government assistance to help, because it's unsustainable. There are charities that do help to a certain level. I mean, I know someone that was struggling recently with medical bills, and they work at McDonald's, but they don't have health benefits. So they had this medical bill, and there's a way I guess you can apply for a charitable exception or something, if you could show that you're working and that you can't afford health insurance or something like that. So there's so many different ways you have to navigate the system. Good to see you, Queen. Journey with Jordan, good to see you, brother. Yeah, thank you for the Queen, I love you. Thank you for the encourage me up. The book of Proverbs is just a book of basic wisdom in the Bible. Again, I don't believe everything in the Bible word for word. I don't believe anything in any religious scripture word for word. But I do believe there's many things in the Bible and religious quotes and texts that have helped me. I think part of life is spiritual. It has nothing to do with money. Now, money is involved in the spirituality, because every church that I went to, money is a part of it. There's a collection plate. I grew up in a Catholic church, so there's a collection plate. And then I went to a non-denominational church because I wanted to learn more about the Bible. And that's a culture shock, man. You go from Catholic church to non-denominational, where speaking in tongues and doing all that stuff. Jay Berg, good to see you. And but I learned a lot about the Bible. It was real helpful. But of course, it was a big thing about offering time, about giving 10%. It was they wouldn't force you to give it, but once I got into leadership too, what they had said was, if you ever want to have your own church, you have to have tax records showing that you've tithed, meaning you gave 10% to the church for the past 3 years, or else we won't ordain you. And that's why I was like, man, I'm just going to form my own nonprofit organization, because this is crazy. And for a while I was giving 10%, but then after a while I said, I don't know. It just didn't, I couldn't buy into it, to be honest with you. But that's part of the journey. Again, I'm not bitter, because it did help me. And you have to make a choice, how much you want to give. I don't know. Everyone's different there, but money's part of everything, even spirituality. But the Bible's free. Sometimes like I often say, like, I don't know why we keep raising money at church. The Bible's free. That's like the same thing I said with like the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts. Why you guys keep asking for money? Isn't camping free? Well, camping does cost. Camping costs. But But the book of Proverbs really helped me. It's a general book of wisdom, not religious. I think if you're from any religion, you can read it, and you may not agree with everything. I don't agree with everything, but I think for the most part, it'd be very easy to read. The New Living Translation is the easiest one because it's the most modern English. Because the Bible is originally written in, I don't know, Latin or Greek or different things like that, and then it was translated like into the King James, I think was the first English, which is like written in Shakespeare. So it says like, like thus goeth the Lord, where like the New Living Translation would say, there goes God. So I said, why am I going to make something harder? Just give me the easy version to read. And that's like, I remember Paul the Apostle saying, why would I speak in tongues when no one can understand me? I'd rather speak 2 sentences that someone can understand me. Queen, you enjoy dolls? Keep playing with dolls, Queen. Dolls cost money. Queen, how much was the last doll you bought? I was in the Dollar Tree today, Queen. I was looking for a mouse pad. I gotta buy a new mouse pad, guys. I'm gonna go to Walmart after this. Thank you, Vicky. I'm gonna use that super chat. You see my old mouse pad? This was when I had a boxer dog. I bought this boxer mouse pad. It says, and on the 6th day, God created a boxer and saw it was good. I had a boxer dog. That's not the boxer I had, but that's like the scripture. It says like when God created animals, I guess it was on the 6th day. Now I don't know. Do you believe in that? It's up to you. But I love my dog, so I remember getting that. But this is like 15 years old, so I guess it got too moist from the humidity here in Florida, but it doesn't work anymore. So I got to go to Walmart tonight and get me a new mouse pad for tomorrow for work. But yeah, I went to the Dollar Tree to see if I can get one, but they didn't have any. Let's go back to a lot of comments. Thank you again, Vicky. Thank you. She said, Vicky said 363 days, less than a year, to paradise. It is paradise. I think it is. I paid off all my credit cards yesterday. Praise the Lord. Yeah, when it comes to money, I think Dave Ramsey has a lot of things right. I remember when I was like at a turning point, I said, man, I got to get my money together. I said, I'm working so hard. I said, I ain't saving anything and I'm in debt. And then I remember driving home on the Garden State Parkway in New Jersey, and we turned on the AM radio, and Dave Ramsey was on. It was the first time I ever heard of this guy. And that's like when I heard his general principles. And again, just like the Bible, I don't believe in everything he says 100%, but I believe in his general principles, which is first start with a savings account, at least $1,000 in savings, and then, start to pay off, debt and things like that. And I think it's a big burden off you, and it allows you to live freer and less controlled by other people. So I think paying off debt is key. And I think, Vicky, you're doing it right to come to Florida debt-free, to simplify your life. And that's why I do think minimalism is wisdom for anyone. Again, everyone should do what they want because everyone looks at money different. But the less you have, the less you have to pay for, and the more you can enjoy life. The more time you can spend at the beach, less time you have to clean, less time you have to pay. So keep pushing forward. You're taking all the right steps. Very positive. Backwoods again. I appreciate you being number one. Keelan, again, good to see you. Backwoods, I appreciate you, man. Keelan. Jesse, happy first. It's August 1st. It's a whole new month, Sam. I put in my budget. Good job for my mental health counseling. Wisdom. Thank you for showing up. It's a blessing. Well, thank you for the tip. It's a blessing as well. Look, I talk about it a lot in the channel because I think it's just as important, as your physical health. I think, there's mind, body, soul. So I think a lot of times, I'm in Planet Fitness, or I go to the gym, or I go to the store, and a lot of people are looking like to be physically healthy. But I don't think people put enough emphasis on mental health. Now, again, everyone has a ceiling, right? Like, I'm never going to be cut up and Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I could be healthier physically. So, like, same thing with mental health, right? I think everyone has a certain ability, but I still think you can work on it and be healthier, right? So it's the same thing as physical. You have to look at physical and mental very similar, okay? There's differences, but it's like, again, we all have certain ability, so you're never maybe going to be this person or that person, but I think we can always work on improving ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And I think when you do, I think you have a better quality life. And believe me, I don't think that's a waste of money or time, whether it's a gym membership, whether it's spending more money on healthier food, whether it's having a positive counselor or support group. I don't. Because one thing I've learned, especially as I get older in life, is if you don't take care of yourself, you're really screwed and you can't do anything in life. And then the world really kicks you. So thank you, Jesse O. Thank you, Vicky. The tips are appreciated, and I say thank you. Let's go back to the live comments. Keelan says, hope you're having a good day. I love the drive. How you feeling? Good to see you. Keep pushing forward too. So he goes, barter is another way of life. That's true. Without relying on cash. That's true. But to barter means like I'll trade you. Here's the example. Barter means I'll trade you this broken mouse pad that's dirty, that's 15 years old for something, right? So one is I had to buy this at some point, so I had to trade someone for it. So who wants to trade me? So maybe Queen wants to trade me an old doll. So we trade. She's got like an old 5-year-old doll that's got a missing head. So Queen trades me her doll. Now I got a doll with no head, and now she's got a dirty, computer mouse that doesn't work. So I think barter is good, but I don't think barter takes you to the next level of developing, right? Because I think when you have a reward system that says, look, when you work a little bit harder and you maximize your potential, you don't have to depend on what someone else has to give you. You can go out there and get your own, and if there isn't out there in a marketplace, you have enough money, maybe you can create your own. Now, where I do think again, the system is a little bit skewed, is I think there's definitely an inequality. I definitely think there should be a better base. But I definitely think some of it we have some control over, which is how we live. For a while in my life, I lived above my means. Was that anyone's fault? No, it was my fault. I could blame, no one told me or this and that, but it was my fault. So you learn, it's part of life. I mean, I think part of healing is you don't beat yourself up, but you take accountability. There's a lot of times in life I screwed up. I think you got to screw up to realize you're not better than anyone. Even when you do better, you're not better than anyone else. But you have to share what you did to make yourself better. So what did I do to get my financial life in order? Well, one is I worked. So there's no way I would have anything without working. And two is I started to look at my expenses and cut them down. I mean, now I'm very extreme. So I don't know, where I go from here, but I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying time. That's what Queen just said. Time is the essence. I agree with that. I think about that now. I said, really, I can spend more time at the beach. I can spend more time on YouTube. I often tell people, like, I wouldn't be using YouTube as a creative gift if I didn't have more time. And again, I think if there was no money involved, I don't think people would do it. I don't. Because I think about the toll it takes on your physical, mental health, and your time. And I think if you have a YouTube channel, you realize that it could be over a period of time mentally unhealthy. So you have to be very cautious. But I want to encourage you to do it if you want to do it. You just have to be conscious of self-care. But barter is a way too. Woohoo, what's up, man? Shout out to Detroit, man. How's the temperature today up there? Cameron, good to see you, Cameron. Love and respect. Vicky, yeah, we read that's 363 days, less than a year. So before you know it, another year will be here. So like I said, we're in August now, August 1st. So keep pushing forward, one day in front of the other, one day at a time. And before you know it, it'll be here. So hang in there. I know it gets anxious at the end. D from New Hampshire. I have an addiction to some foods. Yeah, I understand. Like I say, I thank God that I had the experience with my mother, and I know my mom, it kind of was awakening in her because my mom always struggled with food. And I had family members who were struggling out in drugs. So for a while, my family coped with understanding drug addiction. And there's somewhat, I think a lot of it's mental. But I remember like my mom kind of saying, and we kind of having a conversation, she goes, I guess it's like me being addicted to food. Like sometimes my mom can't help herself with food. Like I called her tonight. I said, Mom, what are you doing? She goes, I'm cooking up cheese and macaroni in a microwave and this and that, And, again, I think a little bit of it is, sometimes people ask me too, well, how did I lose all that weight? I guess I'm a balance, between my mom and my dad, but I also kind of put my own twist on it. I became my own person. I took accountability for my life. I said, what do I like, about this person? What do I like about that person? And then who do I want to be myself? So, my mom was always struggled with weight. My father was always like a nut freak, a health nut freak. He always watched his calories, his weight. So, I try to find like a balance in life. But I understand food addiction. Just like I understand relationship addiction, right? So some people don't struggle with food, but they struggle with relationships. Some people don't struggle with that. They struggle with gambling. Everyone's different. Everyone has vices. It's not easy, but try to do better. Vicky, thank you again. I appreciate the love. Palm trees. I'm looking at palm trees right now. No frill Jill. Hello, Sam. Nice to see you this evening. It's good to see you too. I appreciate positive people. Thank you. Congrats, Vicky. Yeah, Vicky's going forward. Roz again. Hey, Sam. I hope you're having a great evening. Overall, it's good. I felt a little bit sick yesterday and today, so I took some Dayquil. I hate taking medicine, but when I get sick, the only thing I can break down and get is either Dayquil or NyQuil. I usually never go to the doctor unless I'm really ill. So I took like 2 tablets of Dayquil today. It was real hot the other day, and I was at a campground. And I don't know, like when I was sleeping, I guess I was sweating. It was hot, and then I woke up. And when I woke up, I went to Starbucks to work, and it was real cold. And I think because of the air conditioning in Starbucks versus real hot outside, I think that change, like kind of like gave me like a little bug. But I'm feeling a little bit better. Thank you. I hope you're feeling good. Yeah, and Tom gave me an encouragement. Yeah, I appreciate it. This is like a podcast. Like Joe Rogan, who has like a popular podcast, he gets most of his viewers from YouTube. So that's true. But thank you, man. I appreciate that. Journey with Jordan. Sam, I like the book of Proverbs. Yep. And a big part of it, yeah, is it encourages you not to be lazy, because it basically says when you're lazy, your life's going to be a disaster. I appreciate you sharing your wisdom and using your gifts to make a positive impact. I appreciate that. I enjoy it. I mean, I think it comes across. I think if you like a person or if you don't like a person, I think you can kind of tell when someone's into something. Just like, with people, right? I remember, like, I would like a girl. You could always tell if she's into you or not. You know what I mean? Body language, just a spirit. And, and sometimes you could tell when people are into you and you're not into them. It's a weird thing. But, no, I'm thankful. Look, I'm thankful that I could use YouTube as a side hustle, but also use it as a way to use my gift. So it's a double blessing like that. You know what I mean? Because I think the ultimate goal in life is to do what you love and earn an income. If you can earn an income off doing what you love, I think you're blessed. But for most people, including me, usually what you love is going to be a side hustle, and it's tough to really get to a point where you can have that full time. Again, I watched my mom as an example. She loved to sing. So she sung at church on the weekends, and sometimes she would get paid for like funerals and weddings to sing at them, but she still worked 2 jobs during the week. So she couldn't make a full-time living off singing, but she liked to do it, so she did it on the weekends, and she earned a little bit extra income on it. So that's like kind of how I'm at YouTube. Now I simplify my life. My mom could only simplify her life so much because she had 3 kids. So I don't have kids. I don't have, a house. So I simplify my life more to take more risk, to take a more chance and try to use my creative gifts full time. It's still a lot to be able to, it's still going to take a lot to get there. But, like everything in life, whether you're moving to Florida, like Vicky's got a countdown for 2 years, or whether you're starting a YouTube channel, you just take it one video at a time, one step at a time. Again, for the first year doing YouTube, I got 0. Even now, it's still like a minimum wage job, but it's a blessing. And I'm thankful for it. And I don't take it for granted. I don't take the viewers who tip for granted. I don't take anything for granted. And Marin, I appreciate you using the Amazon link. Thank you for that. So, but you just do your best. I mean, the main thing in life, like everything, is, you want to do things honestly and earn it. Because again, money is a resource, right? So it's like anything, there's some people that scam to get it. There's some people that work to get it. And, and there's some people that worship it, I like money. I don't worship it though. I mean, look, I live basically in poverty. I think the most money I really spend, is on food. It's like Starbucks, getting a bagel, eating a salad every night at like the market or something like that. And food is my biggest cost. But I'm trying to save so that I could possibly retire earlier, take more chances, or do whatever. But I'm just thankful. But this is part of life, and this is part of everything that you guys are going to think about. And everyone's got their own journey. And Journey with Jordan, I hope you're still in here, brother. Don't live a life below your potential, because you're a very smart guy. And I know you had a bad experience in the corporate world, and I know you take accountability. You played a part in it. But you also have to take your hits and then get back up. Because one episode of Dave Ramsey I remember, and this is what I was thinking about you all day today and even yesterday, Journey with Jordan, is I remember Dave Ramsey, I got a caller. Dave Ramsey, again, is like a financial guy. He gives advice, basic advice. So a caller called up Dave Ramsey's show, and he used to be, I don't know, let's just say an engineer. He used to be an engineer, and then he had got laid off, and then he was working like a minimum wage job at Target or something, right, just to get by. And that's like kind of like where I was. Like I got laid off, and I was working at a pizzeria. Because I think the best thing you can do in life is just keep working, because the longer you're out of the workforce, the harder it is to get back in. But either way, like I kind of like think about that, because Dave Ramsey said to the guy, he goes, well, what happened? He goes, you were an engineer, you were making, this amount of money, $80,000 a year or whatever, you got laid off, now you're making $15 an hour. He goes, why are you staying at Target? He goes, I respect the fact that you got right back in the workforce and that you're earning an income for your family. He goes, but you can't raise a family on $10, $15 an hour. He goes, why aren't you applying for more engineer jobs? He goes, you're not going to get one right away, but if you keep applying, you're going to get one. And the guy didn't really have a good answer. He goes, you're hiding your potential. You're living below your potential. Like Dave Ramsey speaks about living below your means, but you can't live below your potential. So, Journey with Jordan, I just thought about that with you. I mean, I see how you answer questions and how you obviously have a level of patience, because I know me and you went back and forth on like some political issues, and I couldn't believe you showed back up the next day. So you have a level of tenacity and reason. So I would just want to share with you, brother. I want you to do you, whatever you want to do, but I just want to share with you that don't be afraid to live up to your potential and to re-engage the corporate world, because you're a leader. I mean, you could be a manager or engineer or whatever you were doing, a teacher. Do what you love, but also, don't hide your gifts, don't hide your abilities. I know it hurts to fail, and I know there was some issues you had, but I just want to share that with you for whatever it's worth. Don't hide your abilities, and don't live a life below your potential. Live below your means, but up to your potential. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Queen says hello. How you doing? Good. I appreciate you, Queen. Jay Bird. Hey Sam. Hey Queen. She's back. Queen. Hello. Sam, I'm in here. You're here. Yeah. Let's take a hydration break, Queen. It's always good to have you. Let's see who's next. No Frill Jill. Hey Queen, cute name. Yeah, she used to be named Tamacha Queen, but then she's got a different profile now. It's called Petty Doll. Do you collect or restore dolls? She goes, and then Petty Doll says, how are you, Journey with Jordan? Rash A4V, I don't know what that means, but good to see you. Queen, hello Jay Bird, how are you doing and how was your day? Queen's positive. Journey with Jordan, do the best I can. Appetite Doll, Petty Doll. Hope you're coloring. Yes, he's coloring. Is coming along nicely. Yep. Petty Doll. Yes, my coloring is great, thank you. Tom, these podcasts are making millions. Stay hydrated. Joe Rogan's, he's making millions. I'm thankful for mine. I got 39 people watching now, so you got to start somewhere. Like my man Journey with Jordan. Journey with Jordan, where are we on the $100 million mark? I think tonight we're at $10, so I'm thankful for that. You got to start somewhere, guys. Queen, I like dolls. I'm not mad at that. You got to do what you love. I enjoy dolls. I think that's a blessing, and that's why you're so positive. Queen, you're one of the most positive viewers I ever had, because you do what you love. No Frill Jill. Very cool, Petty. Thank you for responding. Petty Doll, you're welcome. Gerald, what's up, man? Hey, Sam. Bless you, brother. Well, I appreciate that. Bless to you also. Blessings to you, man. Jay Bird, it was good. We had an awesome storm today. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, storms. There was a couple storms that blew by, but I was glad because it broke up the heat. And I like storms, and I like them in Florida because it'll rain for 15 minutes and stop, versus like New Jersey, it would rain for like days, and it would be very depressing. So, I'm just thankful for Florida. I love it. And that's why I like, my opinion, I like Florida over California, because California has a little bit more moderate temperature. It's not as hot, but it's no rain. It's like almost a desert. And I like rain. And I like Florida. Queen. Glad I made it here. Well, I'm glad you came. Dennis, very smart guy. Sam, the trade-off for the old age is experience. And experience saves on expenditures. As your demographic changes, so will your perspective. That's true. Use this to leverage the worth of anything. Yeah. I mean, how you look at life as you get older and what you value, it changes. It evolves. When you're 20, when I was in my 20s, what did I value? I valued trying to look successful, trying to pick up the opposite sex, trying to show off. And when I got into my 30s, what did I value? I said, I don't value this anymore. I don't want to be in debt. I don't want to be unhealthy. So I valued my health, and I wanted to like kind of get my life together. And now what do I value? I mean, now I value my creative gifts. I value positive people. Like you often hear me say that. And I often say I sacrifice a level of money on YouTube by blocking people because for me, it's too unhealthy mentally. Because again, YouTube does not distinguish between who's a good person, who's bad. And I think there's certain parts, whether it's with your father and with an inheritance, whether it's with a YouTube viewer, there's certain crossroads in life where you say, look, is the money worth what I'm sacrificing? Now, look, if you're totally destitute, you have to do what you have to do. I understand that, so I'm not going to judge anyone. But I often say, like, try to position your life so you can decide if you want that person in your life if you don't. Because when you're fully dependent on someone, you can't really say, look, this is not good for me, I'm walking away. And I've seen a lot of people stay in unhealthy relationships because the money's a factor. And often should. I know, let me just block somebody right now. But I want to stay positive. I'm very thankful. You know, money's a factor. And I know it was a factor in my mom taking so long probably to get a divorce because it's very scary, you know, to walk away from a dual income household. You know, there was a study I read that people, when you're in a tougher state financially, you're less likely to get a divorce because you need the other person. But when you're actually more successful, you're more likely to get a divorce because, you know, money's not a factor as far as like pooling your resources. Blanton, good to see you. Straight facts, good to see you, man. Shout out to North Carolina, man. How are you? How's Tom Hanks? How's everyone over there, man? Good to see you guys. Thank you, man, for hanging in there with me too, man. You guys have been positive, man. And now, I don't know, you may not even be friends with Tom Hanks anymore. That's what happens in college. Like, you got a best friend, and then, like, you're no longer best friends. But that's all part of life. You know, I even think about that with YouTube. There's been so many people that were, like, my best friends, and then, like, turn enemies, or they don't watch anymore. It's all part of life. It's hard to let go. It really is. But good to see you, Blanton. Shout out to you and everyone in North Carolina, man. Jesse O, thank you again. Love to you, and yes, you know, continue to put, you know, your well-being, you know, at a top priority in your life, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Put it as a top priority. Journey with Jordan. Got too moist from the humidity. Well, it lasted for 15 years. Now I've heard it all. Well, it's true. It's humid as hell down here. But yeah, I got to go to Walmart tonight. No frill, Jill. Because I was trying, like, today I was trying to, like, use my mouse. Like, even, like, when I had to block that bad guy, I was trying to use my mouse. I can't use it. I had to use, like, my mouse on my computer. So I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And wasn't good. No frill, Jill. True, Sam. Not everyone is an A student. That's right. Most people, including me, I was a C or B student. I was an average student. I hated school. And sometimes, like, I don't want to say I cheated, but, you know, like, what's that person doing? You know, because, look, I hated school. I would say I was an average student. That's what I would say. If you are a B or C student, be the best C student. I agree. Be the best you can. You live up to your potential. You can achieve. Yeah, most people are average, school-wise. Again, I had to take an electrical exam, license exam 3 times. I think a level of life is persistence, failing and getting back up. And I agree. Queen, Petty Doll. Time is of the essence. I agree with that. Time is important. Journey with Jordan. Currency is essentially a placeholder for labor not yet exchanged for goods and services. Yeah, it's a reward system. It's saying if you do X, Y, and Z, you get this reward. With this reward, you can buy services and goods. Now, there certainly could be a debate about you know, minimum wage or equality. I think there should be a debate there. I think it's a real thing. I would like to see a little bit better base. But I think no matter how you get around it, there's always going to be money. Because sometimes I thought, like, you know, could you make life really better with having no money? Like not even having it in the world. But then, like, who would do anything? Again, like, if you got sick and you went to the hospital, who would work? Who would work a midnight shift if you got no money? No one. You know, who would work at Starbucks if you didn't get paid? No one. Who would work on your car when it broke down? Who would make cars? Who would work at the car assembly line? No one. So it's like, you know, it's that dynamic where you realize, like, you need some reward system. Now, do you need it more fair? And, you know, that's debatable. Living good. Hey, Sam. Would you buy real estate cash? Yes. Or she, forgive me if I don't know. Then live on the tenants paying and start traveling. What do you think? A good question. I think first you have to examine your personality. Because there was a season where my mom had like a multi-family, a two-family house, and rented it out. And what I could tell you is being a landlord is a lot of work, at least in my opinion, for my personality. It's a job. Like when you become a landlord and you rent out a property, it's a job. Now, you may not have to do something every day, but and it's a liability. So if you pay for cash, it's not as big as a liability. Well, it's actually a bigger liability because if you take a loan on it, you know, the bank is a level of liable for it, but if you pay for cash, you're totally liable for it, right? So if you ever had to like file bankruptcy and a bank had a loan on it and you paid for it cash, like they can only come after you for so much because the bank owes it really, not you. So, but debt is very dangerous. But most people who are successful in real estate, the big time ones, the ones that want a lot of money like Trump and all them, they leverage everything. They go into debt because they figure if it doesn't work out, I'll just go bankrupt, let them clean that off my books, and I still have a certain amount. But I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying like that's what someone like the people who really, they just leverage everything. But for my opinion, the first thing I would say to you is just, what's your personality? Do you like dealing with maintenance? Because the first thing I think about when a landlord is maintenance is really going to be your number one part of your job. Like when you apply for a job, there's like bullet points to what you're going to mainly be doing. Okay. So when you're a landlord, your number one job is maintenance. And if you're not going to physically do it yourself, you're going to hire a property manager. Then you're an executive. So you have to be the liaison, or you have to approve your property manager doing certain work, or you have to give them the green light that you can make any repair for under $1,000. You don't have to ask me. It's a business. So business equals work. I had two businesses, electrical contracting business and a nonprofit. And no matter what business you have, a profitable business or a nonprofit, however you want to structure it, it's work. It's obligation, it's liability. So if you have a tenant, you're liable. You better get house insurance, rental insurance. You have to decide, are you going to put it under an LLC so you're less liable, or are you going to put it under your name and use it as a sole proprietorship? Liability and maintenance are the first things that come to mind when I think about owning a property to rent it out. So would I do it? No, because those are two things I hate. I hate maintenance, I hate liability, and I don't really like to deal with people. So for me, this is just for me, it wouldn't work. But I have met plenty of people that are very passionate about real estate, and they like fixing things up themselves, and they don't mind mentally being a little bit more liable for something. So I think you need to ask yourself that, what personality traits do you have, and do you accept that? And then, buy whatever you do decide to buy. If you do, buy below your means, have enough cash in a savings account reserved, because things will go wrong, and you have to be able to cover those costs, and you have to be able to have enough personally, that you feel comfortable being on the road. And if you're going to be on the road, and then you're going to need a property manager, because you really couldn't be on the road full time and travel away from that place. And if something went wrong, you're going to have to call contractors. You may have to do a walkthrough. If not, you're going to be trusting what your tenant says, what the contractor says. You're never going to walk through visually, so you may need a property manager. So those would be the things that come through my mind. Best of luck to you, Jason. If I get proper sleep, he goes, if I get improper sleep, I go off the rails. It sucks. Well, yeah. One is the average adult needs 6 to 8 hours for sleep per night. So 6 to 8 hours of sleep per night. That's what the average adult needs to keep their immune system healthy. Your immune system is what fights off disease. So there's been a couple times I got sick on the roads because I wasn't getting good sleep and the weather conditions. And also your sleep affects your physical and mental health. In certain military techniques is to deprive people of sleep because it makes them go insane and it deteriorates their physical and mental abilities. And it makes them more vulnerable to give up information. So that's why it's a torture technique to deprive people of sleep. So sleep is a huge aspect of your health. You have to focus on trying to get 6 to 8 hours per day. Now, again, are some people different? Yeah, some people may operate okay on 4 hours. I don't know. But 6 to 8 hours is what's on average recommended. 8833. Your videos have always been helpful. Thank you. Addiction is horrible, man. No, I agree. That's why I don't judge. I don't judge anyone, whether they have a food addiction, drug addiction, a sex addiction, whatever. But I just, for my own well-being, I have to separate myself from them. I had a problem doing that initially because I felt like I'm acting like I'm better than them. And some people threw that in my face. They did what I call a guilt trip. A guilt trip is the number one form of manipulation. So like I would say, well, I can't hang out with you anymore, or I don't want to meet up. And they would go, what do you think? You're better than me? And for me, whether it's a family member or friend, whether they have a full-blown addiction or whether they're just doing stuff that I don't like or I don't want to do anymore, you have to separate yourself from family members and friends. And that's the only way you get better. Some people never get better. So it's not your job to judge them, but it's your job to live your best life. And that means separation. And some people are going to guilt trip you. A guilt trip is manipulation. They're going to say, what do you think? You're better? You can't hang out with me? And if someone says that to you, they're just not your friend. They're a manipulator. They'll lie right to your face. And I've had them do that to me. And like even nowadays, like sometimes I know like people who like spy on me, like that's what they think. They think like, well, you think you're better or this and that. But hey, look, if that's how you perceive how I'm living, then we're just not friends. I don't want anything bad to happen to you, but that's how I feel. Living good. I'm thinking to start investing in real estate so I can get financially freedom and not have to retire old. What do you think? Again, I think like any businesses, most businesses fail, and real estate is a capital. You need either a lot of capital or you need good credit to get a loans, and it's all a return on investment. So real estate is just like any other business. Most businesses, you're going to get a 10 to 20. A good business will get 10 to 20% return on investment. Okay, so if you buy a property, for $100,000, you may make $10,000 a year. Now, hopefully, that's after expenses and after everything else. But there's no guarantee. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of risk. Every business is risk. Even doing YouTube is risk. You sacrifice your privacy. Everything is risk. So, for me, I wouldn't do it because it wouldn't be worth the risk because it doesn't play to my strengths. But if it plays to your strengths, if you have the personality to deal with it and you're willing to take the risk, then I would say, that's your call. I don't want to tell you to do it or not. I just kind of gave you like how I look at real estate. But I look at real estate like any business. It's just a business. Some people are better at it than others. But I think the main thing with any business is you have to ask yourself your personality. Because your personality will guide you to what you should be doing. Now, there's times in life you have to do what you have to do, and I've done that. But if you're going to start a business, usually that means this is something I want to do. This is my baby. So if you want to do real estate, it should be something you have a level of passion for. It's still going to suck at times because every job sucks. Even jobs you love, it's work. Everything is work. Even being a landlord's work. But if you have a level of passion for it, whether it's real estate, YouTube, opening a Dollar Tree, doesn't matter. If you have a passion for it, then you'll push past some pain. So that would be kind of like my general statement, and I wish you the best, Queen. Half man, Queen, had to grab a snack. I'm not mad at you. Take your time, Queen. Queen says, yeah, that's true, Sam. I don't know what I said. Marin, hey, Marin. Hello, heart emoji. Get well soon, thumbs up, thank you. I've seen many people here not feeling right lately, me included. It's been very hot. Not sick, but not right. Grateful to see you. Yes, you got the eye emojis. You too tonight. And then 3 palm trees, 3 magical waves, a sun, yeah, and your voice from Mom. Well, I appreciate that, Marin. I love you. Queen, are you over the near Walt Disney, Sam? No. Walt Disney is in Orlando. That's the center of the state. It's not by the ocean. So I like to stay by the coastal areas by the ocean. I don't really like the Orlando area. I don't like inland. I like mainly the coastal areas. That's my preference because I like the beach. Jeremy Jordan, Disney World is the disaster area of Florida. Yeah, some people love it. Some people love the Orlando area, and it has a lot to offer. But I didn't come to Florida to not be by the beach. I came specifically to live by the beach. So for me, for my personality, it makes sense. For some people, they like Orlando area. I'm not mad at them. Queen, I'm watching House Party with Kid and Play. It's one of my favorite movies. I love when, I think it was House Party 2, when Burning Mac said, if people don't like you for who they are, screw them. And he said, F them, really, though. Queen, a world without money would be a total disaster. It would. In my immature days, I thought it would be great. I thought it'd be less greed, less things like that, but then no one would do anything. The world would be undeveloped, and then people would just use their brute strength to basically strong arm barter, right? So, like, that's the thing. Like, if you didn't have, because again, if you didn't have money, you wouldn't have anyone doing anything. Nurses, police officers, construction workers, Starbucks. So if no one's doing nothing, you have basically a lawless society. And when you have a lawless society, it's basically who's the strongest and most harsh, because they're going to control the goods and services just based off brute strength and manipulation. So, certainly capitalism and money has its pitfalls too. But again, it goes back to, if you're not going to do that, what are you going to do? Because it has to be some system to structure society, some reward system to keep people motivated to do stuff. If not, what do you have? You just have chaos. And there's some people that want chaos because they're so frustrated with life, or they have mental issues or whatever, that they don't care. They just want chaos. And those type of people you have to separate from without judging. Marin, thanks for the reminder. Just place another Amazon order tonight. Well, thank you. It's a free way to show love and support, and I appreciate that. Vicky, thank you. No frill Jill. And Vicky, thank you very much. Vicky and Jesse, thank you for the 2 tips. I appreciate that very much. Very kind of you. Queen, hello JT. Queen, where did you work at, JT? Marin, Andrew Yang was very good last night. Only one I thought who sees the big picture. Yeah, I haven't seen enough good personality on the Democratic side. I can't, again, I voted for Hillary, but I'm fair. I mean, I can't just vote Democratic if there's not going to be anyone. I like Andrew Yang. He's all the ones I like, but he's not a good salesman, and he's not a good motivator. He's not and I just can't see him, and that's why he hasn't got past 1% polling. I can't see him bringing it home. And I don't like Joe Biden. I don't like the 2 girls. I don't like Elizabeth Warren. So I really don't think they have a good field, and it's always hard to beat a president in his second term. He really has to be doing a disaster. So, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it plays out. But just remember, like I always tell you guys, whoever you like politically, is that no matter who it has been for me, whether it was Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Obama, Bush, Trump, at the end of the day, for the most part, you still have to wake up every day and do what you have to do for your life. Go to the gym, go to work, live a positive life, use your creative gifts. So, presidents matter, but really the biggest thing that matters is who you are and what you do. I watch political stuff enough to be a little bit informed, but I try not to get consumed with it, because like even today, like I was watching a couple of clips from last night's debate, and I was watching Trump in Ohio give his speech, and I was watching too much, and it was like mental junk food. I felt like I was eating too much sugar. It's not healthy. And I said, all right, let me turn this off. It's not positive. I understand what both of them are trying to say. And I said, let me not get lost in it, because at the end of the day, tomorrow I got to wake up and I got to do what I got to do for my life. So, just try to remember that and not to get too crazy political. Journey with Jordan. Thank you for that encouragement, Sam. I believe in you, man. The last couple years have been very humbling for me. We've all been there. I've gotten knocked down several times. We've all been there. But I agree right now, I'm living below my potential. Yep, you have what it takes, brother, and you're blessed because the Lord has given you a level of intelligence and compassion. So you have a good mix, man. You're a smart person, but you also have compassion. And like I said, you also got patience, so you must be a good teacher. That's why sometimes I think, well, maybe I'm not the best teacher because I don't have probably as much patience as you. Like I know, like sometimes we had debates and I was probably a little bit rough. I probably wouldn't have came back in the live feed. So you actually have more patience than me. So I think to be a teacher, that's a good quality. Queen, hello, Marin. How are you doing? Journey with Jordan. Just haven't figured out the best way to get back up and on the right track. Well, it's your call. Yeah, I don't want to force you. The worst thing you can do with someone, and I remember Marin said this too, I agree with it. The worst thing you can do is pressure someone to do something. Like, the best thing you can do for someone is give them space. Encourage them and everything like that, but people are going to do things on their timetable, their way. And the more you push them, the further they're going to get away from you. So if you want them in your life or if you care about them, just say what you need to say and then let them be. I agree with that. JT, I'm sorry. I don't know if it looked like something negative. So I just try to keep positive. But I'm sorry if it wasn't. Marin, 3 hearts. Hey, Journey with Jordan. I have a lot, all caps of faith in you. I do too. Sending positive vibes, a sincere prayer. I believe in prayer and rooting for your way. Hey, look, guys, no matter where your faith is, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with someone wishing you well and saying a prayer for you. I don't think that's really religious. I just think that's positive. Queen, the last doll was $4. That's a lot of money that I bought. Queen says, that's a cute mouse pet. Thank you. It's broken. I got to get a new one tonight. Do you pinch pennies? I'm cheap. I got no underwear. I'm cheap. I can't say that too loud. Queen, are there any penny pinchers in the house? Right here. Amen. So I'm right here, Queen. Queen, I hear a train. You hear a cheap train yet? Marin, a doll. Queen, how are you doing, Marin? Journey with Jordan. And yes, I have been back and forth on some things, but I've only been a Christian for about a year. He goes, and try not to put labels on it, you know what I mean? But I understand what you're saying. Still very early in my own spiritual journey. Yep, don't get caught in dogma because it doesn't matter what you call your faith. There's a whole dogma in there, so just be faithful. Certainly don't have everything figured out yet. Yep, that's okay. You're just working on you, Marin. I like to own a parking lot that accepts annual payments or credit cards only. Absentee is for me. I agree. I don't like commitment. I don't like liability. That's why I still like the campgrounds. As long as I could keep my health. I mean, I may eventually have to get an RV because I think I may want more comfort. But I'm going to look at a Corrado. I'll probably do a video this weekend. A Corrado is like a Class B. It's like the cheapest one they make. I think it starts around 50 or 60,000, but that's not cheap. And I just said I'm a penny pincher. But what I could tell you is I don't like the drive of an RV. I like the drive of a car. And so, and I don't want to get like a Class C where I pull my car and I drive an RV. So it's like I'm caught in no man's land. I would like to maybe find like a little plot of land that has a little bit of privacy and no HOA, but that's very hard to find. So I think you go back to the best option is to utilize campgrounds. And if you had an RV, especially if you're in Florida, get the 1,000 Trails Pass and stay non-committal. Petty Doll. Yes, let's trade. All right, cool. Journey with Jordan, Marin. Will there be overnight parking allowed? Yeah. Jay Bird, Journey with Jordan asking the important questions. I agree with that. Marin, good question. What do you think? Queen, cheese and macaroni. Yummy. Yes, a lot of sodium in that dough. How much sodium should you have per day? No more than 2,300 milligrams. What is sodium? Sodium salt. It's like a salt preservative way to measure. It's basically a way to measure salt in food, kind of. And salt makes you retain water and it increases your blood pressure. So too much sodium, over 2,300 milligrams per day, will give you a highly likelihood of increased blood pressure and make you retain water. So watch the sodium in your food. 8833. And sodium, a lot of it's in like packaged food, like so cheese macaroni. If you get it out of a package and you dump it in, a lot of that's just sodium. 8833. My friends, when I was 18, did the same thing because they were into hard drugs. They were mad because I was trying to better myself. You get it. Look, I still get backlash now just for saying certain things, but it is what it is. You either destroy yourself or you say what you got to do for you. Those people are in jail or dead. I've seen the same thing. Yep, glad I walked away. Amen. 8833. I say amen. Amen, Queen. I'm glad you are feeling better, Sam. Thank you. Journey with Jordan. Thanks, Marion. That means a lot to me. Yes, positivity. Living good says. Thanks for your point of view, Sam. Thank you. Have a great night. Thank you. Keep pushing. Thank you. Queen, I tried to enjoy my life. Well, damn it, Queen. Let's end on that note because I think that's a positive comment. And I love that comment. And let me just approve. My brother 8833 says, remove the seat from your Renegade if you like and give you more room. I have a blow-up mattress in my car. Laughing. Yep. Now, I have enough room. I mean, I have as much room as I can get. There's only so much room you're going to get out of a Renegade. It's a good suggestion, but, I don't know. But right now, I'm just thankful. Look, I'm thankful, and I hope you guys are thankful for what you have. I hope you're able to push forward to what you want, whatever your journey is in life. Just keep doing you. Keep working hard. Keep trying to retire early. Whatever you want to do, just try to do it honestly and directly. Thank you, Vicky, and thank you, Jesse O, for the tips. Thank you for everyone who clicked the thumbs up button, shared the video. Thank you, Marin, for using the Amazon link. Thank you, Journey with Jordan, for pushing up to your potential. And everyone, just do the best you can. Keep positive people around you. And if you can't find anyone positive, there's nothing wrong with being alone for a season of your life. All right? Peace and love. I got to get a new mouse, too, tonight. A new mouse pad.